good rising. Hi. I am gonna just let some people come on, but I'm going to prepare by burning some sage and just clearing my space real quick. Happy to have you here. We open up a window. So windy outside. This is for you. All right. Spirit, I ask that you speak through me, that you live through me. I will it to be so. Hi everyone, good rising. It is I, Jubilee, also known as Native Soul. Today I am wearing Moldavite, which I've had this piece since 2019, and it's interesting because this has ran away from me a couple of times, and I just got it back yesterday. Like, apparently crystals show up in your life when you need them the most, so I just took it as that. Right now I want to really talk about what does radical self-love look like. For me, I've just kind of questioned this for a while, especially because, like a lot of you, I wasn't raised to know how to love myself. I was raised to know how to get an education, go to church, and make money in corporate America. And then eventually I would have children and retire and then be returned to the earth, you know? Nevertheless, I think it is so important for us to really figure out what radical self-love is for each and every one of us, because it looks differently. But I'm just here to share what I am discovering what it is. And I think first of all, radical self-love looks like being honest with yourself. You have to be honest with yourself, with how you feel, with what your dreams are, what are your aspirations, what are your goals, and also just if you really want to do something and if you don't want to do something. I found myself in situations where I say I'll do something, but deep down inside I truly don't want to do it, and so that ends up causing resistance, which then causes suffering. Unnecessary suffering. It's like, why are you doing something that you don't want to do? Because I feel like a lot of times we feel like we have obligations and we feel like we owe people, and the truth of the matter is we aren't here to save other people. We're here to help people by helping ourselves first and by saving ourselves only. So I think with that, I've been like feeling guilty, for instance, about like not showing up consistently on my platforms because I have personal things in my life going on that I need to deal with. But just the fact or the feeling of giving people false hope or broken promises hurts me, and that causes suffering, instead of just showing up and being honest and saying, Jubilee, do you really think that you can be consistent with this platform in a time when you're going through a lot? Like, why are you putting this unnecessary pressure on your shoulders? And I literally feel like a lot of times psychosomatic pressure on my shoulders because I put a lot on myself, because I see that I can give a lot, but in order for me to give a lot, I first need to receive a lot. But how can I receive a lot if my hands are still holding on to what I think I should be doing rather than listening to spirit, listening to what I actually need to be doing at that certain point in time? So if you're someone like me and you feel like you've put way too much on your plate, that's not radical self-love to me. Radical self-love starts with listening to yourself, listening to your body, listening to your mind. What are you feeling? What are you thinking? And on top of that, with the foundation of being honest with yourself, I think radical self-love also looks like a life of showing up for yourself. I've always put people before myself, and that has resulted in even more pain and more suffering, or low self-esteem, or just overall being freaking drained, like just being drained of energy. I have to get to a point where I say, again, the honesty. When is enough enough? When am I going to start showing up for myself? And then when I start showing up for myself, which looks like, for me, meditating every day. And that has been probably one of the hardest things to do, honestly. I'll be like, oh, I'm good today, I don't need to do that. But then the day catches up with me and I realize I should have meditated, because thoughts are going everywhere, or I'm feeling anxious. I could have just solved the problem by meditating. So meditation looks like radical self-love to me. Doing breath work, even if it's for 5 minutes a day, that will help me. Doing yoga, talking to my ancestors, being outside, eating 3 meals a day, and hopefully cooking 3 meals a day that I eat. And journaling. Like, these are the things. Oh, and artistically expressing myself, I need to do that. So those things are showing to myself that I am worthy of my own time. I am worthy of my own energy. Instead of me trying to catapult myself onto the, front lines and doing this and doing that for everybody else, I first need to show up for myself. And the world might tell you that, oh, this is selfish. That's so selfish that you're showing up for yourself. That's BS, because you really need to show up for yourself. You really need to be in a place where you are on a sturdy foundation of discipline and consistency, so you are able to be a help to someone else. So you are able to show up and be a blessing in other people's lives. But how can you do that if you aren't radically loving yourself? Radical self-love looks like taking time to really appreciate your life. Everything is so fast now. People want answers now, and they Google and they refresh the page over and over again to get something that's quick and that instant gratification, right? Which is social media. And that is unnatural. We have to be able to be in a place of gratitude for our own lives. Be grateful for who you are. Instead of comparing your life to someone else's and where they are in this point in time, be grateful for where you are and who you are. Because you are divine, you are just as important as they are. Everybody is equally important. Despite the stratifications in society of trying to split us and divide us into these false groups, we have to realize that we are all worthy of love. We are all worthy of peace. We are all worthy of joy. We are all worthy of reaching our aspirations. And it begins with you showing up for yourself. That's what I believe what radical self-love is. It's taking care of yourself despite what the world is doing. So thank you for joining this live with me. I appreciate you. yeah, right now I'm just learning to show up for myself before I can really be instrumental to the level that I know that I came here to be. I have to do this for my own life. I want to preach what I practice, you know? I want to preach what I already practice instead of talking and just being like, hey y'all, let's do this, let's do that. I need to show up for myself right now and just really taking into account what I've been given, because you know that saying where it's like much responsibility, much is given, you know what I'm talking about. But whatever, like the more responsibility or the more we're given, the more responsible we have to be. And I've been given a lot in this life to share to the world, but first I need to do that with myself, because I'm not going to ever be a hypocritical leader. I'm going to be someone who is actually doing the things that I am talking about, because that's important. Integrity is important to me. It is one of my founding principles of my life that I lead my life by. So I want to be able to be in a healthy, stable place where I can show up for myself and I can show up for humanity. But I can't do that unless I do that for myself first. So thank you so much. If you want to listen to my podcast that I just dropped, it's called High School. It's about me really tapping into my higher self through entheogens like cannabis, mushrooms, or I meditate or I pray and I connect with my higher self, and then I just speak whatever is on my heart, whatever is on my mind. And it is the most raw form of messages I've ever put out. And I think it's important for me to have that authenticity with myself and to invite other people in my space to do the same. So High School, I will leave that in the description. I just started that podcast, and follow me on Instagram if you want to connect with me. If you resonated with this video, please share this with someone else. And I'm looking forward to starting to do monthly live streams on group meditation. So just once a month, and I feel like I can actually do that. I can show up to do that because it's only once a month. But I would definitely love to gather all these different people from around the world together so we can just meditate on healing ourselves and healing the planet, and meditating on clean water and food for people and resources. I believe in the power of the mind, and we all have access to this divine power within us. So when we are able to tap in and be together in one accord with that, that is so powerful. We can literally change society. We could change the world. We could change everything. But it starts with ourselves. It starts with showing up and radically loving ourselves, which is what I'm working on. So thank you. I apologize for the inconsistency on this platform. And just know that I am working to be a better person every day. I love you all, and peace. See you soon.